Welcome back to the channel. I am Brad with Fine Tuned, and today we are back on this F31 wagon. In the first video, we swapped a BMW diesel into it from a 535D, and in our last video, we did some wheels, we did some brakes on it, and a few other things. We changed the wiring harness on the engine. This is the third video, and we are doing a whole bunch of stuff to this thing. I have $6,000 worth of parts that we are throwing on this wagon. And here they are over here. Starting with the appearance of it, we have M Sport bumpers for it, and they are very nice, freshly painted. So we have to build these things up and to get all the grills in them and stuff. And then moving on from the bumpers, obviously we have all the plastics for the bumpers and the aerodynamic stuff. And then we have a very, very nice M3 steering wheel, which that'll be very nice on the inside. And then we have some carbon fiber trim here that we got to put on the inside. We have M Sport door sills. We have lowering springs for it. We have LED fog lights. And then right here we actually have a dual exhaust for it. So this is from a 340i. So we're going to actually install this on the vehicle. Doing this swap, I didn't have any exhaust for this thing. All I had was what was from the 5 Series, which was that mid-pipe there, and nothing else would line up with it. My plan is to cut this flange off here and probably attach it and weld it to this 340i exhaust, and hopefully we should get a nice exhaust, a nice tone from it. It should be pretty quiet, which is kind of what you want. I kind of want a sleeper out of this thing. So we have a lot to do today, but we'll start out with assembling all these bumpers. We'll put the grills on it, and we'll get all the bumpers off this car and get at it. That looks really good. Got the fog lights in there, got the grills in there. We'll pull the other grills from the other bumper when we take it off. Last thing I want to do is we'll go ahead and put on the BMW emblem. So we'll prep the surface with wax and degreaser, and then we'll stick the new emblem on. Now, since we already built the front bumper, we got the rear bumper out here, so we're going to build it too. And we just got to do the park sensors on it, the lower valance and the reflectors. I guess we'll start with this piece here and see if we get it clipped on. Got both of the bumpers built, so now it's time to actually take off these bumpers and swap them out. So first things first, we're going to get this up in the air. We'll take off all the wheels because we got to do lowering springs anyway, but they'll just make it a lot easier for us to get the bumper off. Okay, we're just putting in the brake ducts right now. My brakes are going to be so cool after this. They're not even going to heat up at all. Okay, right side's on, we'll do the left. Nice. Okay, we got all the cooling ducts in, so now it's time to put on this fresh new bumper. We got the front bumper all on, so now it's just time to put on these inner wheel liners. They're held in by a few 8mm fasteners, and yeah, they fit in really nicely with the M Sport bumper. And then of course we got the lower triangle pieces that we're putting on as well. I'm just taking off the wheels right now so you get this rear bumper off and get the new one on. Alright, I believe I have everything loosened up for the rear bumper here, so we'll just go ahead and take it off. Oh, there's still a couple more screws at the bottom. Okay, that wasn't too bad. On the rear here, we got a new panel that goes on the bumper. So this panel is actually a little bit different, I believe, so we have to swap that over. Okay, we're ready to put on the rear bumper. Next, we're going to do these side skirts. So there actually is a difference between the M Sport ones. The M Sport just has a little bit more detail here. So we'll go ahead and get these pulled off right now and swap them out. All right, we got all the side skirts on, the front and rear bumpers, and it's looking absolutely awesome. The piece that we haven't really figured out yet is the exhaust for this thing. Before, I literally just had the 535D exhaust just hanging underneath it, and nothing was really correct. So I went ahead and bought a 340i exhaust for this thing, and I just threw it up here just to see where it lands. And actually, it's not too terrible on this thing. So we have the factory exhaust stopping right here, and so basically we just need to marry this piece to this piece, and what I have here is actually the piece that I cut off of the 535D exhaust. What we'll do is we'll actually try and make this work. I think I have to cut off some of this a little bit more, and then what I want to do is bolt this up here and then maybe throw a couple tack welds on it, and then I could drop down the exhaust and weld this up full. The next step is we'll cut off some of this flange here and put it up and see where it lands at. we got our 340i exhaust cut here, and we got the other exhaust cut, and this is what it looks like before we do any welding here. I'm pretty satisfied with how this is coming together, and once we get that all taken care of, we'll get our mount on here and get it bolted up, and it should be good to go. All right, we got this flange welded up here, and I didn't do a bad job, I don't think. So next step is we'll actually put this on. We'll get it bolted up. We have to figure out a mounting bracket. I did buy a bracket for a 340i, but it doesn't bolt up to the transmission correctly. These two are the mounting spots for the bracket. And then you can see the bracket actually goes past it. So I'll probably just drill another hole in here and then cut off the extra piece. So that's what we'll do for that. I say let's get that thrown up here and we can bolt everything up. We have the exhaust all on, it's finally complete, and I am extremely happy with how this turned out. Like it couldn't have turned out any better. So we got this exhaust all mounted, and we got both of the cross braces in, and nothing touches the thing. Of course, we put on the underbody, so that's finally on. And yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, the exhaust was just something that was in the back of my mind on this thing that I just had to figure out, had to do something with, because I can't buy an exhaust system for this car. Like, there's nothing around here in the United States that has this combination. So the 340i was the closest thing to make happen. We'll drop it down, we'll start it up, we'll see how it sounds. Everything's all good to go on this thing. The exhaust sounds great, honestly. I mean, with the wagon, you have all this space in the back that's part of the cabin, so you don't want like a straight exhaust because you'll get a lot of drone in the cabin. So having this muffler here paired with the two resonator, it's going to be perfect for this vehicle. So M Sports actually have lower suspension, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take out these struts here, and we're going to put some iBox springs in it, and that'll give it a really nice lowered look to it. we got all the lowering springs on and everything went super smoothly. The F31 is super easy to remove the shocks and struts on these things, so it's a lot different than the E90 and a lot more easier. So next step, we are going to put the wheels and tires on. We're going to lower it down, see how it sits, and then back it up because we have a lot of interior stuff to do. We got this thing down on the ground, we got the wheels torqued, and it looks stunning. I mean, this is perfect fitment and ride height in my opinion. I mean, you still have some travel room for the suspension, but yet we got that wheel gap pretty much cut in half on this thing, so it looks way better. It's sitting really good. And now it's finally time to work on the interior, which I'm pretty excited about. This actually was a sport package to begin with. And with the sport package, you did get a black headliner, which is cool because the M Sports came with a black headliner. But I just want to make this pretty much as close to a M Sport as possible. So over here, we actually have some M Sport door sills that are going on. And then we got this performance trim, which this didn't come on M Sports, but it was definitely an option. So it's carbon fiber with some Alcantara on here, which looks sick. And then with the M Sports, you did get a sport steering wheel, but this was one step above that, and this is actually the M3 steering wheel. So you have the tricolor M stitching here, which looks good, and then this centerpiece is also wrapped in leather, and it has a split in it. The regular M Sports are just flat here without a split, and plus you get some nice paddle shifters, which are a little bit better than the M Sports. They're actually the DCT style paddle shifters, and they look really good. And then of course we have door handles here. So the issue with these door handles on the inside of these is they're like a soft touch latex to begin with, and what happens is over time they just deteriorate. The driver's side's really bad. Well, you could actually see this is bad on the passenger's side, but it just turns all gummy, sticky, and makes your hands black every time you close the door. So what we're going to do is actually take off all these door panels here, and we have to drill out the back side of these because they're like plastic welded in place. So we have to drill those out, remove those, we'll put the new ones in, screw them in, and then we could put on all our trim and everything on this thing. We do have one more mod for this thing that isn't here. I'll save that for later, but it should be here later on in the week, and we'll get some footage of us installing that for the interior as well. It's really going to tie everything in the interior and just make this thing awesome on the inside and obviously on the outside too. So let's get to it right now. We actually want to start with the shifter here. As you can see, it has a lot of stress cracks in it. It looks like absolute crap. So we actually got this replacement piece on eBay, and we're just going to pull this off. This is kind of double face taped on the back side. So we're going to heat it up a little bit and then see if we can pry it off, and then we can put the new one on. Got all that adhesive cleaned up, so I'm just heating up the back side of this and the front side of that. That way we get good adhesion for this new one. That looks way better. And it lights up perfectly. Next on the list is we'll do these door panel handles just because they're a pain in the butt to do, and they're kind of time consuming too, so we'll knock that out of the way. So first step is we'll get off all these door panels and get them on the table. is the grab handle out of the inside of the driver's door. I mean, you guys could see how nasty these things get. I mean, that's absolutely disgusting. So we'll replace it with this one. And then as you guys can see on the back side here, there's like a big tool that comes down with a hot iron and melts these plastics into place. So that's exactly what we had to drill out on this one. So we drilled out 4 of these, and then the replacement, it has holes here, and you're just going to screw it in with these washers and screws. I'm not really concerned about screws versus plastic, because at the end of the day, these 2 bolts actually bolt it into the door and hold it in to give it a really nice solid feel. We got all those door handles replaced, and we got the door cards back on the vehicle. So now it's time to install our carbon fiber trim. So we'll do that right now. Okay, door cards are all done. Now it's time to do this trim on the inside here. We'll take the iDrive controller off. And then we will have to swap these clips over too. Got all the interior trim done. It looks awesome. I really like the contrast with everything, and I like the red stitching along with it. I just think it's a nice, tasteful touch on this car. Next up, we're going to do these door sills here. So I think we can just pry up on these, those out of here. Go ahead and clean this up real quick. And I already got new clips on these. I did buy them from eBay, so they are used, but they look in pretty good condition. So we'll just line up the clips and then push it on down. We'll go ahead and do the other doors now. All right, next on our agenda is getting rid of this ugly steering wheel. So we actually have to find the holes back here to release the airbag. There's 2 little springs on the back side of the steering wheel here, and I have to get a good feel for it. Try it out. Maybe I'll try this side first. All right, I got the airbag out here, and it did fight me on the way out. So what needed to happen is you have to put your screwdriver behind here and pry in on these springs in order for it to come off. So we got that off. Now we just remove these connections here, and then now we can take our 16 mil bolt off here and get this thing off. Put the new one on, and then plug it in. driver airbag, plug it in. Go ahead, take this off.
That was terrible.
It was terrible. Alright, that feels better. Yeah, that looks way better. Okay, now we just gotta get rid of this badge. I mean, we're not a 328D anymore, so we gotta let people know that we're actually a 330D. Overseas, 6-cylinder diesel, single turbo, that's a 330D. They did make the compound turbo, and that would be a 335D. We're just going to remove this badge here and replace it with a 330D badge in black. I actually think that this one is a little off too because the D is spaced out very far away. We'll just go ahead and take off all these letters. Unfortunately, the steering wheel that I put on does not work. All the buttons and stuff work, but the only issue is the heated steering wheel. And when I put this in originally, the one that's in there, I just plugged the heated steering wheel right into the clock spring, and apparently that's not right because the steering wheel got super hot all the time while you were driving it. That's not any good. So I actually had to purchase one of these steering wheels, and just what I'm going to use off this is the module inside. So this is for the heated steering wheel module, and I believe it's also for the buttons and stuff. So we just have to rob this out of there and put it in the other steering wheel. I tried to use the old steering wheel module, but it didn't work. I mean, it did work, but there just wasn't enough space in there to put the module in. This is a very specific module for this steering wheel. Let's start taking it apart right now. Now before we put in the steering wheel, I got a little something to spice up the interior just a little bit more. The 6WB LED instrument cluster. A lot more fancier than that tack in there. And yeah, it should look really cool. Make this interior a little bit more modern. Before I put this in actually, I did want to take off the face and just clean in here a little bit better. It looks like someone buffed this display before they, I don't know, mailed it out. So there's like buffing compound on the side and like on the button of it. So we'll take it apart and we'll clean it up before we actually put it in. So we got this instrument cluster all in. It looks great. The only thing that we do need to do is do coding on it. So you can see it has a gasser tachometer, and it's also in German too. So we gotta do some coding to take care of that. I could probably do coding with Pro Tool on that thing, honestly. I think I've done coding with Pro Tool on one of those clusters before on my F15. But the guy who actually virginized the cluster, so if you buy a used cluster, you have to send it to someone to get virginized. And basically what that does is kind of wipe out the VIN number on it and the odometer on it, because you can't just be throwing clusters in different cars on these BMWs. So he did that, and he's like, hey, you know, you could probably code it with Pro Tool, but just to be safe, I want to do coding myself on it just so we don't mess anything up. So that's what he's going to do on it, and we're probably going to do that later today. But yeah, I love the looks of this. It actually just, it updates the interior, it makes it look a lot more modern. So between the LED cluster, we also have the MBT Evo upgrade radio. So it's like all the newest tech in here for this body style. I got the steering wheel all fixed. I just wanted to verify that the heated steering wheel actually works. So I used my thermal imaging camera, and yeah, it looks pretty cool, and I didn't have to wait for it to warm up. One last thing I want to do on the rear here is we put this 335 or 330D emblem on the back here, and that's black. So it kind of looked off with this chrome iDrive here. So we're going to remove that and actually put a black one on, and that should just kind of tie in everything on the back here with the black badges, the black diffuser, and the black exhaust tips. So that should look really good. Oh, another thing. Last Friday, we actually got the windows tinted on this thing. 35% ceramic tint all around this thing, besides the windshield. It looks absolutely killer with Apex wheels, the M Sport brakes, the tint. Everything is just coming together very nicely on this car. The M Sport bumpers. We are going into December soon, so it's almost Thanksgiving. And I think I'll throw this up for sale after December, just to get Christmas out of the way and the holidays, because I don't think car sales do that well, you know, right around Christmas time. My shop is right on my property, the house is, and I don't really drive cars too much, so I really enjoy building cars and building kind of one-on-one builds. So that's kind of the plan for this thing. Build it, drive for a little bit, and then let it go to one of you guys. So here is the X-Drive badge right there that we're going to throw on. I kind of wish that the drive was at least in silver or chrome, just to give it that emphasis, but I don't know, black will do. Maybe I might get some decals maybe for the drive, but I don't know, we'll see. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Should it just be all blacked out, or should there be a silver decal on top of this drive? I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comments. The new X-Drive badge looks a lot better in the back in my opinion. In this video, we got the M Sport bumpers installed along with LED fog lights, side skirts, and even lowered it for that 6 stance. I got the interior dialed in with a fancy M3 steering wheel, carbon fiber trim, new door handles, and of course, window tint. And you can't forget about that OEM digital cluster either. As always, thank you so much for watching.
So in love with you. 'Cause you got me down again. To complete transaction.